Good.
Ready? All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the December 3rd, 2024 Lawrence City Commission meeting. And I will have Sherry go ahead and get us started off.
Good evening, everyone. Please silence your cell phones to minimize distractions during the meeting. When the mayor calls for public comment, please approach the podium to indicate you wish to speak. Virtual participants should use the raise hand function to indicate they wish to speak. When prompted, select Join as Panelist. There will be a brief delay as your role changes. Once your name is called, please unmute and turn on your camera to provide your comments. Please state your name and zip code before speaking. The city reserves the right to turn videos off or mute participants. All comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The primary format for accessing or participating in this meeting is in person at City Hall. Virtual access to view or participate in the meeting cannot be guaranteed. The chat function will not be monitored. If you have any trouble, the meeting can be viewed on the city's YouTube channel and cable channel 25. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Sherry. All right, I'll go ahead and get us started off. Item A, approve the agenda. The City Commission reserves the right to amend, supplement, or reorder the agenda during the meeting. I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Approved 5-0. Item B, consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered under one motion and approved by one motion. Members of the governing body may remove items for separate discussion if desired. Members of the public may remove items identified as quasi-judicial for separate discussion if desired. Members of the public will be limited to 3 minutes per comments. All right, and would any of the commission like to?
B9A.
Okay. That is B9A. Anything else? Okay, I'm not seeing any. And I do not believe we have a quasi-judicial on here. All right.
Move for approval of the consent agenda with the exception of B9A.
Second.
Have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, passes 5-0, none opposed. All right.
Can I ask really quick, was that Commissioner Sellers that did the second?
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner Sellers. Thank you for that clarification. All right, B9A. And I believe Vice Mayor Dever.
Mayor, thanks. I just wanted to try to pull this off and make sure there's some clarification on exactly where the money's coming from for public consideration, and also understanding the infrastructure-related improvements relative to this dollars being spent.
Okay, and
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. Let me make her a panelist really quick.
I can also help if needed.
It'll just take a second. I didn't realize she wasn't. Missy, you are now a panelist. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. As you see in the agenda report, this item is for the construction of the city's remaining 24 pallet cabins behind the Lawrence Community Shelter, in addition to addressing a couple of the other major needs of the shelter. This amendment will help LCS fulfill their mission and furthers our goals for sheltering at the scale our community needs. The additional pallet cabins will provide shelter for individuals who are typically very service resistant and have a higher level of need, individuals who would otherwise still be camping. This project creates a safer space for them with separation from other guests at LCS who would be in programming, but still allows for meaningful relationship building interactions with staff and service providers. This model helps these individuals take that critical first step towards recovery from homelessness. By offering them a more supportive and tailored environment, we're creating opportunities to address barriers that may have kept them out of shelter in the past. The Monarch units are currently in use for medical respite and are serving a very critical need that we have in the community. Once they are all operational, all units will provide emergency shelter for individuals with very high medical or behavioral health needs. Individuals who require almost daily interactions but cannot remain in a hospital setting, but their needs are too high for a traditional shelter bed. We've already seen great success with this model. We have a few individuals there now with the homeless response team, Bert Nash, ACT, Assertive Community Treatment Team, and the Mobile Integrated Health Team. We've been working closely to care for the current guests in those units, and together we're continuing to remove barriers for these individuals and help them move towards appropriate housing situations or a higher level of care, whichever they need. Amnesty lockers, one of the biggest barriers that's preventing people from transitioning off the streets is their belongings and what will happen to their belongings. For many of them, the choice to leave everything they own behind or carry it with them to a shelter is overwhelming. And having adequate, secure, and dignified storage space is essential to encourage people to make the first step into sheltering. The lockers will give individuals a safe place to store their belongings, removing that obstacle and allowing the transition to shelter more viable. The special use permit for this project was approved by the City Commission recently, which allowed us to bring this funding agreement forward for you guys tonight. This agreement uses the last of our ARPA funds. So it's $554,000, which must be spent by the end of this year. This allows us to put those funds to excellent use rather than returning the funds. Additionally, it includes $202,000 from the general fund budget, which is well within our budgeted resources for the year. I want to add the need for this additional sheltering space became evident last night when LCS had 138 individuals checked in, just 2 people shy of their special use permit limit. In anticipation of continued demand, we've already set up an overflow site today. Volunteers on standby, ready to step in if we get to the point where we're exceeding those numbers tonight. This reflects a remarkable shift from what we saw last year when it took an extremely dangerous weather event and the pressure of community members and service providers to encourage individuals to leave their camps and to seek shelter. I think the difference this year is a result of substantial improvements made to the environment and service delivery at LCS. These changes make the shelter more welcoming, more effective. People are being fed. There's individuals that are very supportive of the individual's needs within LCS. I think LCS is setting a new precedent, demonstrating that when we prioritize dignity, safety, and comprehensive services, we can build trust with our unsheltered neighbors and encourage them to take the critical first step towards recovery. This funding agreement represents a thoughtful and impactful use of resources and continue addressing the pressing needs of our unsheltered neighbors.
Great, thank you. And then can you comment on the ability to help people who have animals as well?
Yeah, so this, all of the 24 pallets that are going up behind there, they will have access for pets. There's a dog park that was recently built right in that same area too.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any additional questions from the commission? Okay. All right. And since it was pulled, open it up for public comment.
I was glad to make it in time for this one tonight because I heard Misty talk a lot about barriers that need to be removed or that they're removing. And she talked about the fact that we hit a maximum or real close last night. Do you guys know how many people are still out on the streets? I can tell you there's a damn bunch of them because I'm taking propane to them. Speaking of propane, that brings up another thing. That lady talking about barriers, she was asked by an advocate to help spread the word on how to contact to get propane and things like that. She refused to do that. She refused to do that. She cited her reasons about propane being dangerous. Among all the dangers, that's the one she's going to shit on. That's cool, though. I'll still keep going. You guys are giving them a bunch of money. They haven't removed all the barriers that they need to remove. And remember that when they closed that North Lawrence camp, the whole reason people left Pallet and people were getting thrown out of Pallet were because of the barriers. You had people that couldn't stay there because, well, quite frankly, they wanted to bunk up with somebody because they had been raped. I will never forget James Chisholm saying, well, you're not being raped now, are you? I will never fucking forget that. And you better not either. Because James Chisholm should have never said that to that girl or to anybody around within earshot, because that's from what I understand, it was within earshot. But that's your city staff. That's your people that you're giving all this money to. We talk a lot about barriers. Where have those barriers been removed? They give you these grand things about barriers being removed. Can we get some specifics on that? You talked about the dog park. Now here's my question. I think everybody realizes, or well, maybe you don't, homelessness creates trauma. And if you think that's isolated to the humans, you're stupid. So we're going to allow dogs out there. Some of those dogs are very protective of their owners because of the environment they've been in. Who's going to be liable? You going to kill the dog because he protected his owner? You guys think about those things? Did James think about those things? First dog that gets killed because of that shit, I'm going to be knee deep in somebody's ass. Because I warned you tonight. I warned you.
Hi, this is Chris Flowers, and I heard mention of, what if the shelter does become full? I'm just wondering how that interacts with our policy about outdoor camping. I'm just saying if we ever do get at full capacity, I hope you guys actually codify a rule that people are allowed to camp if there is no unavailable space, because the Supreme Court said it's legal if you want to, or if you want to make it illegal, you're free to do it, but if you want to make it legal, you're free to do it. So I just hope you codify making it legal to camp outside if there is no available space at the shelter. But I'd like to see it anyway. And maybe there'd be more available space at the shelter if we let the people who don't want to be there camp. Thank you.
Okay. Sherry, or is there any public comment online about this?
Yes. Julie Jones?
Hi, Julie Jones, and I apologize, I stepped in kind of late. So correct me, I thought you were doing a report on the homeless shelter and what was going on. I learned today from a woman that there's a 24-month wait for long-term housing, and I wondered if that had been addressed. Oh, darn it. What was my other concept I was going to talk about? 24-month wait. Oh, And they said they hadn't seen, that's it. They hadn't seen Chisholm at the pallet for months. So I don't know if he's really going there, or what's going on with his responsibilities, or who's the person that kind of oversees what's going on over there. So I'm just curious about if we have a 24-month wait to get into Pallet Village or any long-term housing, that kind of shoots our Place for Everyone plan. So questions about that. Thank you. That's all I got on that.
That's all the comments, Mayor.
Okay, and bring it back to us for any discussion.
Thank you very much for that.
I would just add, I would just say that a couple things. One, I think what Ms. Jones was talking about is the permanent vouchers from Lawrence Douglas County Housing Authority, and those are at least approximately a 24-month wait. There are some programs that have much shorter wait periods, and we allocated some funds last week for that. And then obviously there's non-voucher possibilities as well. So that's all part of the mix. But having more permanent affordable housing makes a difference. I'd also add, we've been talking about these pallet homes for a while, and fixing Monarch. We've also talked about the lockers for a long time, but I didn't know that was coming with this, but I'm excited that it is, because I do think I've heard that a lot over the last couple of years. When I was at Family Promise, that was always a big issue for people who join Family Promise as well. So I think these lockers will make a difference.
Any further discussion?
If not, I'd
All right.
make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the first addendum to the agreement for the use of a city special alcohol fund, city general funds, and American Rescue Act funds with the Lawrence Community Shelter in the amount of $756,550 for the development and implementation of the Pallet 24 project, the Monarch Improvement Project, and the Amnesty Lockers Project.
Second motion.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. None opposed. Approved 5-0. So, all right. Now I will move us on to our next item, which is the election of mayor and vice mayor. And I will start us off with comments. All right, let's see. All right. Well, first, I want to thank my family for all their support during this year. I couldn't do any of this without them, and they've been incredible. I also want to thank my fellow commissioners for all their work this year and continue to look forward to great things to come in the future. I also want to thank our staff for all of their hard work, and we couldn't pursue the goals of the city without your integral efforts. And last, I want to thank my employer for allowing me to serve the city of Lawrence. A year ago, I spoke of initiatives like the strategic plan and our land development code and our historic resources code, and we were able to pursue those, pursue the former while updating the latter ones, which go a long way to helping our city grow and thrive. Last year, I also emphasized our work on infrastructure, housing and houselessness, economic development, sustainability and resiliency, and projects regarding affordable senior living. To start off, we continue to use our asset management program to address and improve and maintain our infrastructure. Focusing on these measures will help us both in the present and future. An example would be our completed work on 23rd Street. It has yielded more than 41,500 square yards of new concrete pavement, more than 3 miles of new curbs, gutters, and water mains, more than 11,000 square yards of shared use paths, and 6 new Lawrence transit stops, and more than 150 new trees. And I look forward to similar results when we finish the work on 6th Street. Other projects coming up due to us receiving the $3.5 million transportation alternative grants are the 2025 Safe Routes to School Sidewalk Gaps Project. Closing key sidewalk gaps identified in the Safe Routes to School plan will make it safer for kids to walk, bike, or roll to school. The multimodal improvements to Massachusetts Street from 14th to 23rd, enhancing safety and accessibility for everyone who uses this major corridor. And of course, our continuing work on the downtown bus hub. The affirmative vote from our town on the town of Lawrence on the new sales tax for affordable housing gives us the opportunity to work for more housing for those that need it throughout the community. Those people include our children, nurses, teachers, and others who are in need. Some of these affordable housing opportunities are: the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is prepared to award up to $1.2 million in grants, with over $5 million in requests submitted. To date, 372 units have been completed. 364 units are in progress. Additional support for rent, utilities, and accessibility improvements for low-income seniors and individuals with disabilities. And future projects in the pipeline are Bison Affordable Development, the Bison Affordable Development at 3100 Michigan, 250 units supported by industrial revenue bonds offering tax exemption on construction materials. And the Fort Hill Bob Billings Parkway, 121 units backed by a public-private partnership with land donation and the trust fund support. In regards to houselessness, we expanded the capacity of LCS, kind of what we were talking about today, opened the village shelters, and matched our neighbors who are houseless with resources and stability, and increased our presence downtown and formed the Homeless Response Team. Some of the things that the Homeless Response Team has accomplished since June of this year are 170 individuals engaged, 770 plus face-to-face interactions, 14 people housed, permanent, supportive, or transitional. We continue to pursue intelligent growth, which will hopefully recalibrate the ratio of residential versus commercial in terms of property tax. Introducing more commercial and industrial development will go a long way towards sustainability, relieving the tax burden on our residents. A large part of that growth will continue to be economic and workforce development, and I'm encouraged by our actions in this past year, such as opening up and receiving RFPs for our parking lots. Also, we reinvigorated our economic development process by putting forth renewed focus on economic development, marketing, and business attraction, entrepreneurship and small business development, and business retention and workforce development. Additionally, I look forward to our North Lawrence River Corridor study, as well as other potential studies around town. We continue to prepare and make Lawrence a welcoming place for cultural and sporting events like the World Cup and opportunities like Panasonic. We have stayed the course with our sustainable and resilient measures for the city facilities and resources like our upcoming MSO campus, which I had the opportunity to go ahead and view that site yesterday, and our fare-free bus service. It ensures an equitable access to transportation, helping residents get where they need to go while reducing emissions and supporting a greener future for Lawrence. We are proud to celebrate a decade of Lawrence recycling and continue to encourage the use of reusable bags. Our city's commitment to reducing waste has made a measurable difference in keeping our community clean and sustainable. And we're moving forward with our work towards more affordable senior living places. Places like the Estates of Lawrence, a newly completed affordable townhome community for seniors 55 plus, featuring 10 buildings with 2 to 3 bedroom units. All units are all electric, include a first floor primary bedroom and come with washer and dryers, and supported by the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And residents are already moving in. Also, upcoming is are the New Hampshire Street Lofts, a vibrant rental community for residents 55 and over, offering 49 affordable units, including accessible options with live workspaces, supported by a $300,000 Affordable Housing Trust Fund award. This development is set to open in June 2025, and these units will remain affordable for 30 years, ensuring a long-term impact. All of this is to say, we are working towards making Lawrence a space and a place for all folks, which only works when we work together. And I continue to be excited to work with you all to keep pushing us forward to a bigger and brighter future. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to serve as mayor this year. It's been one of the greatest of my life, and I look forward to continuing the journey. Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on a second before you move on.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt you.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
It's my duty to do so at this point. So I was asked to present this on behalf of the city commission, and your fellow city commissioners. And now this says, for your outstanding leadership as mayor of Lawrence, Kansas, from December 5th, 2023 until December 3rd, 2024. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your life to do this job. I know it's a lot of work, and respect the fact that you took the time from your job and your family to do it, and we appreciate anyone who does that. And I thank you again for your leadership. So thank you.
Well, appreciate it. All right. Now I'll move us on for the conducting the election of the mayor. Let me get my stuff in order. All right. And to start us off, I'll receive nominations for the position of mayor.
I'll nominate Mike Devo for mayor.
Okay. And are there any other nominations? Okay. All right. Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to close nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Second. I'm seconding. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Pass 5-0. All right. Nominations are closed. All right. And, okay. Do I have a motion for the position of mayor?
I moved that we nominate Mike Devo, appoint Mike Devo as mayor.
Can we just do that? Yeah, we
What
just
the way to do it?
close nominations.
Oh, yeah.
Do I need to vote? What?
You probably could say I move that we elect.
Okay. I move that we elect. Thank you.
Yes.
Move that we elect Mike Devo as mayor.
I will go ahead and second. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any. Okay, it passes 5-0. All right, now I will take us on to item 3, conduct the election of vice mayor. And at this time, I'll receive nominations for vice mayor.
Mayor, I would nominate Commissioner Finkeldye for vice mayor.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right. Not hearing any. I would entertain a motion to go ahead and close nominations.
Move to close nominations for vice mayor.
Second the motion.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any. Passes 5-0. All right. And then a motion to elect the vice mayor.
Mayor, I would vote to elect or move or nominate Commissioner Finkeldye to the position of vice mayor.
I will go ahead and second that. We have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Not hearing any. Okay. Passes 5-0. All right. And then I think that concludes that part of it. Sherry, how do you want us to handle this? Am I officially handing over the gavel and then he's going to take us to the recess?
You can go ahead and recess.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when we come back.
All right. All right, everybody, we're going to have a 15-minute recess, and we'll be back in approximately, what time?
15 minutes?
6:30.
6:30.
6:30. All right, thank you all.
All right, good job.
All right.
right, everybody settled in? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're back to the meeting. Nothing was done besides drinking some lemonade and a few cookies, and there's some more out there if you want them. We're going to move on to the next item, which is item F, which is commission items. Is there any commission items that anyone would like to bring up at this point?
I think one item we mentioned was, do we want to spread out
Yes.
and as opposed to being together? If we do that, talking to Sherry before the meeting, we'll be off-center, but we'd have one space between each person. Is that more preferable or being close together?
I would be in favor of that. How about Joel?
That'd be fine.
I would be in favor of that. Not that I don't like all of you, and
Sherry, would that work?
Yeah, we can get these moved. We just wanted to make sure we're comfortable being off.
all right. No, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
And if we don't like it, we can go back.
That's yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever works.
I'm okay with that. Very good. And then there's one other thing I want to bring up, if there's nothing else at this time. We have one of our leaders of the city leaving. Rich Llewellyn has taken a job out of state. He was our fire chief. We're going to wish him well and hope that he's able to take on a new career there and help us find a suitable candidate for us as we leave. But we appreciate the work you put into the city and helping get our fire department in a position to provide greater services to our community and hopefully in a safer environment for them. And we appreciate the work you did while you were here. So thank you very much, and we're sorry to lose you. Any other commission items? Okay.
That's any.
Do we have any items to speak to on the future agenda? No? Okay. And we'll like to have a discussion about the appointments of commissioners on individual boards or other activities that we need to talk about reassigning positions to. I had thought about dropping one of my positions, since one of the positions I'll have to take is on the library board, and that's has to be served by the mayor. So I figure I would relinquish myself of a responsibility if a commissioner wants to take on my MPO position. I don't know if there's anyone interested in that, but I would offer to do that. And then there's some other movements that could occur as well, and suggestions of any moves that anyone wants from a board or moving around a board.
Are we deciding that tonight? Because I think that's on the future agenda
No,
items.
I apologize. It is on this agenda.
But not next week.
We moved it from the future agendas to this since we didn't
Okay.
have any other
Got it.
regular items. We thought we'd go ahead and get it done tonight
Yeah.
after the
Okay.
elections.
I just saw it on the future agenda items.
I know, and
Yeah.
I apologize when we
Okay.
moved it. I didn't remove it from
It's
that
okay.
other
Yeah.
agenda item. But it was listed on today's.
Yeah, the most up-to-date agenda. I saw that. Yeah.
There was notice.
So anyway, I just want to bring it up and see if anybody has any suggestions or anybody wants to move around or just open it up for suggestions today.
I would be interested in serving on the Explorer Lawrence board.
Okay.
Let's see.
I would just say on the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, we're doing a 2-day retreat on the strategic plans. We did 1 day today, and we have 1 day tomorrow. So if anyone wants to take my place, you have to go all day tomorrow to a retreat.
Uh-oh.
Probably.
No.
Oh, you're really selling it.
No, I would say, I mean, I'm, if anyone else really wants it, I'd be happy to talk about it, but we are in the middle of a strategic plan we've been working on for a while. I mean, I'd be happy, I'd like to stay on it and finish that strategic plan, and then, once that's up and running, the next year, we can, make that switch.
That makes sense. Unless, anybody has a problem with that.
Mayor, I'd like to stay on an MPO as well.
Okay, you want to
so-
stay on? I think
yeah.
that would be good to have some continuity
Okay.
there, if that's okay, but I want
Yep.
to make sure. And then,
When was that?
The Metropolitan Planning Organization Policy Board.
Okay.
it has 2 commissioners. And so I would open up that one for suggestion if anybody wants to open it. And one question, Commissioner Larson, do you want to still do the DMI as well as the Explorer Board? Do you want
I
to?
could go either, yeah, if somebody else wants to take that, that's
Okay,
once a year.
because they're
meeting.
similar. Oh, is it only once a year? Okay, well, that's not too exciting.
I'll jump all over that.
Board
Mayor,
Yes.
currently as it stands, I sit on EDC, Explore Lawrence, and the Community Health Steering Committee. I've done a couple of cycles with the steering committee, really excited with what the work that's been doing there, so I'm ready to slide off of that one. Explore Lawrence, we're in the middle of strategic planning with that project and that board, and we've built kind of a good rapport with the work that we're doing there. We hit a couple of hiccups, but that was more administratively than any of the other pieces that we put together as far as with budgeting and the fund balance and what that work is doing. So I have all intentions of wanting to stay on the Explore Lawrence board, and as well as the EDC. We started out a little bit slow on EDC, starting to pick up a little bit of momentum, starting to see where we're doing work with the bylaws, and I've had some good conversations with Commissioner Kelly, so I would like to stay on that one as well.
Okay, so EDC.
So EDC and
You want to
Explore
stick
Lawrence.
on Explore Lawrence. That'd be two for sure. You want to,
Yeah, and then-
the third one, the Community Health, you want to stay on there? You said you were willing to,
Ready to, I can transition, yeah.
okay.
And I'm only on one, so I mean, I've been on MPO before. I could do it again, or I could do the community health plan. If either
I think
one,
that'd be a good
Yeah.
one.
community health plan.
Yeah,
Seem to
and we can talk
know a
more
lot
about
that. So.
Okay,
some operationalizing on that.
so I'll do the community health plan and criminal
So,
justice.
Commissioner Larson, I was thinking maybe
NPO?
MPO would be
that's
good
fine.
for you if that's okay. I was actually thinking about asking you to do that anyway.
Yeah,
so,
that's fine, NPO's fine.
Okay, so is everybody okay with all those? Do you want to?
What's up? Mayor, I think BTCB, or I'm sorry, KU Innovation Park is still open because I think you were on that previously, or unless you wanted to continue.
I think I'll stay on there
You're
for
okay,
now,
okay.
but just because I just got on it,
Okay.
I want to make sure they're comfortable. If we need to move on with that, then I'm happy to do
All
so.
right.
But two things would be okay with me. I just didn't want to, because I know it gets pretty busy. So
Oh,
That
well,
would be 3.
That'd be
yeah,
great.
because of sister cities as well, Mayor.
I thought you would stay on there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can stay on sister cities.
Unless you don't want to, I figured.
No, it's fun.
Okay.
Can I read these back to make sure I have it right?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, so Lawrence Public Library Board is the mayor. Sister Cities is Commissioner Littlejohn. EDC is Commissioner Sellers. Innovation Park is the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
DMI is Commissioner Littlejohn. Explore Lawrence is Commissioner Sellers.
Correct?
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I did want to be on that board first, since I've only got one other.
Oh, the Explore Lawrence Board?
Yeah,
Commissioner
yeah.
Sellers is currently on that.
Yeah, she's
currently on it.
currently on it, yeah.
And I'd like to remain on it.
So do we want to,
Let's go through the rest of it to make
Okay.
sure we don't have any other confusion.
yeah, make sure.
Okay, and then MPO Policy Board is Commissioner Larson and
And Little John.
Yes.
Commissioner Littlejohn. And then CJCC is the Vice Mayor, Vice Mayor Finkeldine, and then the Steering Committee is also the Vice Mayor. Right?
That's what I had,
Okay,
correct.
great. So now we just need Explore Lawrence.
Yeah.
Figured out.
Well, I think for the Explorer Lawrence Board, Commissioner Sellers has been on there for 3 years, and it's always not a bad thing to change every once in a while, to kind of mix it up a little bit. And
Sure, I understand. Well, 3 years. Commissioner Sellers, you want to, you mentioned you feel like it'd be helpful if you stayed on. Can you kind of help us understand that?
Well, when I first started, this will be my 3rd year on the Explore Lawrence Board. The first year was a little bit more of the introduction into the strategic plan and the work that we were doing with that board. Kim was very new as the executive director, and so I've come on while she's come on. And I think having me in that position and serving as a liaison, in addition to the transition that we've had with city leadership, will help to give some stability. So that gets her to have at least a solid 2 years of having a commissioner leadership, direct rapport, and what we've built around that. It also gives me a solid year to work with Luis and to transition Luis into that, where Derek and Porter have transitioned with that as well. And so with this being the third year, I feel like we're finally getting to a place where we're identifying operational pieces within Explore Lawrence's strategic plan, how to implement that with the city's current strategic plan. And then what we've seen here recently with the bylaws, where I've had some discussion with Craig, where we feel like there's an opportunity there for us to kind of take a step back, and where we've had a bit of delay in progress with previous city leadership, that this gives us the opportunity to move some of that work forward. So while I've been on for 3 years, about 18 months of that has been lost because we haven't been able to build on some of the operationalization of what we wanted to see that we put in place with our strategic plan. So
You put a lot of time into this?
I'll make a commitment to stay
sound
after
like-
this year.
Yeah, you sound
I
like
can
you've
roll
put a lot of
off,
time in the past. I know you've spoken to it before and filled us in on what's happening on that
I do.
before. So
Yeah.
I know some of these boards take more time than others. And I don't want to get in the way of that continuing. I just open it up for suggestions. I don't really have a problem staying the way it is because of the continuity, but I also know that if we need to share some of these duties, I want to make sure we do so.
Right. And I believe if it was in a place where I felt like me transitioning wouldn't create too much of a hiccup or rapport, I would definitely step back. But this is something I feel
Okay.
that I really want to be a part of.
All right. Well, I'm okay with that. I don't know how y'all feel, but I want to share, the duties fairly. And if I need to give up a spot for you to do something else, and I'm happy to do that.
Mayor,
One of my other positions.
Mayor, I'm also on 3, so the only one I'd like to stay on is, I would like, all of them are fine, but
Sure.
MPO. So sister cities or destination management.
No other.
That's the one you wanted, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I meet with Kim every month, monthly, and we discuss, what's going on with the Explore Lawrence and their strategic plan, their bylaws. She's been working hard on those, the whole group has, and I've been on the Explore Lawrence board before, historically, and so I just, as has been historically, we've kind of rotated boards, so everybody gets an opportunity to serve.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you feel about that. I haven't, I stayed on boards before, like for 8 years before, and whether that was good or bad, I guess I was more comfortable with some of the longer understanding of what's happening. So that's why I was open to leaving her on there, especially since there's some work to do. But I'm also, if the way we want to do is move things around, then I'm happy to open that up too.
I guess I just say, kind of like the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, I know Explore Lawrence is in the middle of that strategic planning, so I'm fine with keeping Commissioner Sellos on there. I do generally agree rotations are good, but I think the times to leave them the same, so I'm fine with Commissioner Sellos staying on the board.
Can we agree that we could just do one more year and then agree that that would be it? And then
I'm
you
totally
take
fine
over
with
after
that.
Do what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
well, that would be my solution to this, if there was anything. So,
that's fine.
and then if you'd like to be on another one of the boards, I'd be happy to appoint you. If you don't, then
No, I'm good.
we can just agree that this might be the list.
Sounds good.
All right. If there's no other discussion on that, you want to move on to commission calendar?
Looks fine.
Nothing too much there. How'd the groundbreaking go today? The MSO, or yesterday,
that was
sorry.
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Went well, yeah. It was very cold.
Okay. All right, anything else to discuss on the commission calendar? All right, I think seeing none, I guess we'll move to item H, was the end of our live broadcast. Anyone who wants to leave can do so at this point in time.
you, Chief.